Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and thanks for all the nice birthday comments that you left on my channel and also on my Facebook. That was really nice of you guys. Well, back to business now that it's midnight over here in where I live. We're reviewing another movie with a woman. Yeah, Estrogen film month continues now with a 80s film. I think it's from 1988 or 89. Let me see. 1989. Starring Kirstie Alley and John Travolta. This is the first one in the franchise. Look Who's Talking. Yeah. Basically, let's read the synopsis quick. Molly, Kirstie Alley, is a single working mother who's out to find the perfect father for her child. Her baby, Mikey, prefers James, John Travolta, a cab driver turned babysitter who is what it takes to make them both happy. He also lives in New York, so that's a big part of the movie. But Molly won't ever even consider James. It's going to take all the tricks a baby can think of to bring them together before it's too late. Amy Heckerling, Clueless, wrote and directed this baby's eye view comedy. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And I know a lot of critics were not a fan of these movies. Even the first one, they were like, stupid. Hey, it's a lot better than Baby Geniuses, both of them. Or any of those spin-offs that came out afterwards, or like these TV movies. It's a good movie. It's a really cute film with an amazing cast. You have Kirstie Alley as Molly, and you have James, played by John Travolta. You have the guy George Segal from the Goldbergs. He's really young in this movie. This is like 30 years ago, so he was like really young. He wasn't that old. I think it was like in his late 40s, early 50s. And Bruce Willis is the voice of the baby. Yes, he doesn't talk with his mouth. It's just he's basically like a telepath, if you will. Not a psychic, but his voice comes from his head. He doesn't go, like that. Some of it looks like he's talking, but other times he just does it off screen because Bruce Willis is a grown ass man and he was doing the voice of a baby. This is the movie he did right after Die. Weird. He was killing people and terrorists in Die Hard and dropping f bombs. No, there's one f bomb in this movie because it's a PG. I think a PG or PG-13. Hold on. Is the first movie a PG? No, it's a PG-13 because there are some sexual jokes and there's a lot of humor. Hell, the first scene in the movie when Molly should goes to work is that George Segal's all over her and he has sex with her in the office. They don't show anything, but he bends her over and does the deed. And yeah, it's not for kids. None of these movies are for kids. This is basically if you took Rugrats from the 90s and made it for adults. Yeah, it has his name is Albert, the guy that played George Segal. He's a really funny guy. I like him. The movie's a lot of fun. There's a scene where she's giving birth and she's like, "Give me some fucking drugs right now." And I'm like, "Okay, that was kind of funny." Because they have to give her like morphine or something so that the birth, doesn't hurt as much. And Kirstie Alley does a good job. I know she has a scratchy voice, but it turns me on. It's like Scarlett Johansson. Olympia Dukakis is in the movie as well. Ava Goda, may he rest in peace. I miss him. He's a good actor. I really miss him. He looked like the American version of Boris Karloff. Um, the film's short. It's only 96 minutes. See, it doesn't drag for almost 2 hours like other comedies do now. That's why this movie was a huge hit, and a lot of these shitty comedies from last year didn't make a dime. Even in January, like a Boss. Yeah, it's about women and they're talking about women's things that were not interesting. It's just it's just they leave the guys out. This movie only cost $7 million. No comedies cost that. Not even comedies from other countries. $7.5 million in the 80s. Right, with the budget that low, movies now in 32 years later, yeah, it's like 2000. No, like 33 years later, movies cost like 8 times that. They usually cost like 30 or 40 or 50 million, and I don't see the money on screen here. It's not a low budget movie. It does have a budget. I mean, they have copyrighted music. They have "I'm Walking on Sunshine" when John Travolta is trying to interact with the baby. It's really cute. I really like that. I really like those scenes. With the best scenes in the movie are with Mikey and with John Travolta. James, because they have a great chemistry. The kid is really cute when he grows from a baby into like a his hair starts to grow and he's blonde and he's really really cute. And it didn't get on my nerves. I like this two 80s films that had a baby. This one and the first Three Men and a Baby. The sequel I didn't even bother because it was years later and the baby's not a baby anymore. And yeah, this movie I think is a little bit funnier because this is a PG-13, and also this didn't have a shitty sequel. Like the sequels, I like them too. Like, Look Who's Talking To and Look Who's Talking Now. I don't hate them. I know a lot of critics did, but the best one is the first one, easily without question. Joan Rivers also does a post-credit scene where Mikey has a little sister that's born at the end of the film. This is before the MCU did post-credit scenes, and but the thing is that she's uncredited because in the sequel, Roseanne Barr does the voice of the little girl, Julie. It's not Joan Rivers, so that kind of was not explained. But I guess Joan Rivers was busy doing something else. I don't know what she was doing because this was after Spaceballs, and this was after her cameo in The Muppets Take Manhattan. So I don't know what. Maybe Joan Rivers was doing a TV show. I don't know. The reception it got was mixed, but unlike a lot of the comedies that came out last year or the stupid Netflix movies that have been coming out with Adam Sandler vomiting or whatever, or The Wrong Missy and all that bullshit, yeah, this is actually funny. It's charming. It has a lot of heart. It's short. It doesn't drag for 20 more minutes. It says, "Look who's talking wholesome appeal thanks to its affable stars and Heckling's energetic thing, but a silly script doesn't allow its wit to get a word in edgewise. It doesn't need to be edgy. This is not an R-rated movie. We don't want to hear the baby saying fuck. That's not funny. That's really weird and off-putting. It's a baby. They're coming to this world innocent. You don't need to have them say fuck. I mean, we already have kids saying that in the It Chapter 1 movie and in all these other films like The Good Boys and all that. No, you don't need it. Babies shouldn't curse. It's a cute movie though. It was a surprise hit too. It came out in the fall of 1989 when I was 4, so I was a little kid, and the effects for the baby look great. Like when the fetus that you see in the beginning when it's developing, it looks really good for 1989. And like I said, it made $200 million. Wow. $297 million. That's more than any comedy made last year besides Sonic and Bad Boys 3. That's a lot of money, man. Yeah, it was a surprise hit opening at number 1 in the US with $12 million. That's how much movie money movies make now during this pandemic. But back then there were no pandemics in the US. It grossed if 5 weekends in a row with grosses over 10 million each weekend. It eventually grossed 140 million domestically and worldwide total of 296, making it Travolta's most successful film in 11 years since Grease, the original Grease, and the fourth highest grossing movie in 1989. And that was a bountiful movie, summer back in 1989 because you had Ghostbusters 2 and Last Crusade and freaking Lethal Weapon 2, I think, came out in 89, and Batman 89, which was the biggest thing in the world at that time. And yeah, it was a really good movie. Like, this movie deserves not the ridicule it got, because all the movies were not liked by critics, but this one is a good, it's not really a family film because it's PG-13, but it is a good film to watch, especially during this time when a lot of actors, in case you didn't notice, if you have never seen any social media or the news or news feed, a lot of actresses are getting pregnant now. Yeah, isolation brought a lot of procreation. So good comes from something bad. And this movie is a lot of fun. If you've never seen it, watch it. It's worth your time. This movie is very cute. The lead woman is not a feminist, so she's not like all over John Travolta. They have their bickering and everything, but it's because she doesn't know what he is. But he's there for her, and that's what counts. The films, they said Screen Gems announced that they were doing a reboot. You don't need one. Bruce Willis is already too old to do Mikey's voice. By now he's probably in his 30s because this is 30 years ago, and I don't need it. Yeah, they want to do it with Mikey now grown up and the father of a baby in the film. It could work if they do something different with it. Don't do like Dumb and Dumber 2 or whatever, where they have to do the same jokes from 30 years in the past or 20 years in the past. It doesn't work now, guys. Cute babies can only be interesting for so long, especially nowadays. Because the last movie with a baby that was funny, that was not animated, was The First Neighbors, where the baby was actually cute in the movie, and the movie was funny along with it. But these kind of movies that just don't work. And also, the movie, like I said, it has a lot of adult themes in it, but it works. It's not overly vulgar. It's not overly sensual. It's well done, and if you've never seen it, it's worth your time. It's really funny, charming, and it has a lot of heart. That's something that I could not say for half the comedies last year because they were just crass and unfunny and just offensive. And there's no racial jokes or anything that's going to offend you. It's a movie for its time, but it works really well. So that's my review. If I would say a flaw, like I said, some of the jokes don't work. Like some of them are kind of dated because it was the '80s, but again, it's still well made and it's worth your time. The first one, and I would recommend the sequel too. I'm going to review that one next. But it's a cute little film. I didn't hate it. Trust me, I know when I hate a comedy when I don't laugh once. This made me smile and laugh, and it reminded me of my childhood from the '80s. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next review.